This year, over 5,000 jobs has been cut from the DeFi space.
Most of these layoffs were brutal.
But what caught my attention are these companies aren't actually dying. It's just restructuring around the AI bubble.
50% true that AI, it is the driving force, but there is also the 50% of which is the current state of the market. But there's no playbooks, but you have to build on top of that. Hype is good, but hype and strategy better. Storytelling is your best go-to-market.
Yeah.
Imagine the whole population, how much competitive advantage you already have. The time to build is now.
Welcome back to the Auto Podcast. My name is Dan. I'm joined with Thijs. I've been in the content and social media space for over 6 years now, and the last 2 of those years has been deep into Web3 and DeFi. This year, over 5,000 jobs has been cut from the DeFi space, and we're going to cover that. Coinbase, Kraken, Crypto.com, and even Block is cutting half their workforce. But what caught my attention are these companies aren't actually dying. It's just restructuring around the AI bubble. So what does this actually mean for the people putting in the work? And I have here today Thijs. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Dan. Really nice to be here. I'm Thijs. I'm Portuguese, but I've been living a bit around the world the past few years. I've been working in crypto for about more than 7 years now. And I actually started my journey in the space when I was living in Australia. I was doing a master in business, and COVID came, 2019 or a little bit earlier, and I started thinking about, investing and do a few things, and I came across crypto and the NFT space. I got invited to host a few interviews with founders, builders, artists in the NFT space for like a big conference happening in Europe. And from then onwards, I got a chance to work as a marketing consultant for Origin Protocol, and I was working with a team in the US. Fast forward, I got into like some smaller projects happening in the NFT space, the whole NFT
Nice.
shebang.
Yeah, nice.
And from then, I got invited to relocate, and I moved to Berlin. And in Berlin, I got to work with the layer 2 scaling Ethereum. Back then, they were very focused on JavaScript developers, and then pivoting to a layer 2. And we had a chance to be working closely with Optimism and the Gelato Network and multiple partners back then. My role evolved from marketing, events, ecosystem growth, strategy. I had to really ride the wave and adapt. The space changed a lot from the NFT to what it is now, but I managed to survive a few cycles and a few challenges specific to my role. But it's been a fascinating space, and I also had opportunity to work with a lot of like developer communities and initiatives, and I've been mentoring now startups. Right now, my role is tied to partnerships. I've been working with partnerships marketing at LI.FI, currently managing more than 1,000 partnerships, integrations in the company, and it's been quite challenging and quite interesting.
You've clearly been in the space for quite some time. You understand the struggles, and with everything going on now with AI, the whole big AI bubble, and how marketing is shifting, but not only the marketing side, but how teams in crypto are shifting towards being more efficient and having more power with less people. And I think that's the main topic I want to discuss today is where is Web3 shifting into in the marketing space, and also with everyone being, or majority of the people being cut on teams. And like I mentioned at the start, more than 5,000 people has been let go in the past, year, just since the AI adoption started happening, and especially in the last recent 3-4 months, right? What does this mean for general teams? I want to get your viewpoints on leaner teams and how do they achieve more with less people with this whole AI adoption?
I think the topic that's been going around, most of these layoffs were brutal. Most of the companies that I've been seeing and the people posting on X and across all my social media, it just arrives without, any expectation, and people don't understand why. But from a business perspective, there's 2 things. So there's a 50% truth that AI, it is the driving force, but there is also the 50% of which is the current state of the market. With that said, this space every year goes through some sort of layoffs, companies restructuring, pivoting, trying to adapt to like the current trends, and they need to really reposition themselves. And it's like a critical move. And sometimes, companies have to cut down, overhead headcount. It's been known that companies, every economical cycle wants to achieve more and for less. You
Yeah.
know? That's
That's the main goal.
That's the main goal. Or the runaway, it's shorter, and they need to like start having like more revenue, or like think about like having leaner teams, or like raise more funds. So all these business decisions taking into place. The difference though is this year AI is just reinforcing that the decision can be a little bit easier, because there is this new concept of like the AI pods that you can restructure a team. And there's some redundant work happening, maybe that you can just like merge two roles into one. And over the few years, we become like more and more multidisciplinary and more knowledgeable about the things we're doing in this space. So we potentially can taking like more work and do potentially two type of different roles into one. And then AI also helps, to really push that forward.
Speed up the process and just make everything a little bit easier.
Yes.
That's very interesting. So obviously, like a lot of people, this is the first time it's happening, right? It's always been, like you mentioned, it's happened in the past. Every year there's a restructuring, but this year it was like a shock for everyone. And I think, or I've seen a lot of crypto projects, they don't know how to handle it, let's say, or especially the team members in the team, where they left with 3 people doing the job, but now it's only that one person doing that specific job. With AI, obviously pretty self-explanatory, you learn a new skill with AI. But what is your number one, like, kind of thoughts on how should people look into this?
I think everyone needs to adapt. Company, business teams, like it is across the board. Everyone will need to adapt, and they need to catch up with AI. So companies who are actually, claiming themselves being AI native, and they are implementing a process to like learn and sharing knowledge skills. They are trying to leverage of what they can do and achieve more, and getting rid of all of the redundant work. So that's gonna die. There's no more like manual dashboards or presentations. You spend so much time like creating a report of like your KPIs.
I feel like everyone's just creating dashboards right now. Code.
Yeah. So right now, like in a few minutes, you can just like create a prompt, create a dashboard. If you also plug in like your MCPs and connect all of like your company data, that can generate so much like useful information like at your fingerprint. So there's so many tools and LLMs and resources right now that you can just like play around and be so much more productive. I think the key main things that I advise people who are like navigating these new challenges within the AI companies restructuring is get familiar with AI, because AI is not going to change and replace all the marketeers. And there's critical things that we all have, that AI can just take it, not within the 1 year or within the next 2 years, which is critical thinking, strategy thinking, and create strategy. The ability to create the full strategy with a bigger overview. So I think AI doesn't have like full context, and also doesn't have judgments and taste. So keeping that in mind and learn how to adapt around these like key main factors, that it's important to upskill yourself with AI, and trying to keep up with the pace of your company, of like the new implementations, automate your workflows. But you're going to be way more empowered marketeer that will be able to like orchestrate data, creativity thinking, strategy, and have that human touch.
You're touching the topic strategy a lot, and that's obviously one of the most important things, but also, and obviously like Web3 is shifting very much into traditional finance. A lot of TradFi people is coming into Web3, not only for the tech we have, but also like everything is just way faster, it's way more affordable. How do you see the crypto bubble right now? And obviously TradFi is starting to get in now. How do you see in the next 2 years, how are we going to be shifting and shaping how we market products?
That's a wild question.
Yeah.
That's a very hot topic, because I think everyone is trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah.
And I have a very interesting take on this. Because obviously I started my job, my career. I started working in actually traditional marketing before in agencies, and we used to work in fashion brands and all of that. Also work in tech marketing and crypto marketing. And the whole journey is just so different from what it was to what it is and what I actually do looking back. And the crypto bubble, the marketeers, who proclaim themselves marketeers, and some of them are, and some of them trying to figure out what actually marketing, the whole spectrum actually entails and what it is. I think there's a lot of misconception of like how we gonna transition the Web3.
Yeah, because I mean everything was like full of memes, like
Exactly.
degenerate content. You know,
Exactly.
everything is shifting more into the people with the suits in the room, right?
Yes,
It's like it's
yes.
a big shift.
So memes and the Discord, like
Yeah.
I don't think traditional finance will care or will sign up for your Discord server, or they will be handling conversations with you on your Telegram, or send like a partnership document across Telegram for you to give like an emoji.
Yeah.
So the way we were doing, this whole community building, which was, that took us so far. And I mean, I love this space, and it's just it's just like a fascinating space to be. And I had so many like Discord like channels and Telegrams, but things are changing brutally this year.
Yeah.
So the way we have been handling marketing and the way we position, our companies and represent ourselves and our companies as well, will have to change a lot.
Do you think communities is gonna fall out of place, or like being shifted a little bit less time spent on communities going to traditional finance?
They will evolve.
Okay.
I think there's like a transformation stage. I don't think that will be like drop one and switch into something else.
Yeah.
I think we will see, especially with AI, there is going to be a lot of like overlaps of a few things, but there's not going to be two different lanes. There's going to be a merge point, There's like inflection point where we'll see. We just need, I think companies and marketers, we really have to rethink about who they are targeting for and create dedicated campaigns to attract those like ideal, ICP customer personas. And, if they have like the users and the consumers within like a community, they still need to target campaigns for that community, and not just like disregard that because now you want the TradFi, like there's like it's not an ideal world like one or another. It can both coexist. It's just how you really rethink out of the box, and also come back to a traditional marketing. A great example of that, let's say, Lovable, right? Like Lovable, it's like not, it's like it's just creating so much like attention and such a great structure company, and have like a big community as well of developers and people who are passionate about all the incentives of building this sense of belonging. They do that so well, but they also scaling at a fast sustainable growth, which is beautiful to see. And I think one of the core principles, they have it in place. They have like a really great head of growth in their company, Elena Verna, and a lot of videos that she puts out explains about this, the type of like strategy as a business they have to have in place. And she actually touched point in 3 of them: sales-led growth, product-led growth, and marketing-led growth. And I think, we have to move really fast in the Web3 space, and there's a lot of like competitors popping out, and you want your product to win and have more users and have more traction and increase more TVL. But there's always like one of these 3 motions like completely left behind.
What is the difference between sales and the marketing aspects? Because in my mind, it kind of overlaps very, very one-on-one.
It depends on what we actually take into account for sales, right? Like BD, business development, who thinks about the, overall integration of like how the business will advance and integrate and go and own that from end to end. And there is the sales pipeline. So which means like which are your targets and how you're going to grow that, sales integrations and generate more revenue, whether it's like through integration fees or whatever that is. And then there is marketing, which is like your branding, your positioning, your community, that translates all the values and what your product is, what is for, what's the business value, translate the business value and the product value into a marketing perspective, you know, like how the general users or consumers would approach your company. A lot of these motions, sometimes they are not really well structured, or they not have like a good strategic thinking behind it from a business perspective, and they fail to grow sustainably. And we used to do like, you know, for example, in crypto, in the Web3 space, we have like a great product. And then I'm like, cool, I'm just going to do like a marketing campaign around it and it should be fine. Because the product is great, sells by itself, and we can create a campaign, we attract users, you know, and then we grow from here. And often there is still something strategic thinking that on the long term, you know, large scale of things will not scale in that direction as you thought, because you forgot the foundation of, you know, what sustainable growth could look like. And if you don't set up your business with these different type of lens and motions, you're not scaling for growth, but someone else is.
So kind of coming up with a product and just instantly throwing out a bunch of money to it to market it, but then again, you don't have that factor of, does the product actually work? Is it sustainable in the long term? Dive a little bit deeper into what do you mean with sustainable in the long term? Is it just like bugs popping up in your product, or is it more of a factor of you can handle that many people on your product?
Great question. I think when I mentioned sustainable growth, and that comes back to how to build trust, credibility, and how you're gonna work on retention. You can create like you have a great product, you create a great campaign, you make a blast across social media, and you have, you know, a lot of buzz, you have the KOL speaking about it. It's like one standalone campaign, you have the numbers up, but what that actually means and translates for your product to be used over the next quarter and the next quarter until the end of the year. What is your roadmap that by the end of that year, you're going to scale and to double down revenue? What is your strategy in place to keep that momentum going? And I think that's where a lot of people fail, because they see on the short term, like one standalone campaign, we're going to invest this much money on marketing, you know, like this product launch will be like amazing and everyone's going to talk about it. But what happens like in the next 6-12 months after? It's
like the hype dies. There was hype, they thought everything was working.
And there always is. And there is always, I feel like we're also building so much for hype.
I think it's not a bad thing.
No.
Because hype is always, it's a good bootstrap, right? It's a good like launch pad from.
Yeah, it gets momentum, it gets like movement, and then you can build on top of that. But you have to build on top of that. You know, hype is good, but hype and strategy better.
Exactly. Exactly. So would you say this is more of a topic that is not really tied into the marketing, but more into the product itself? So get the product right first.
Infrastructure, product, create business value, and market around what's the business value. Those are your winning, you know, leverage. And like what sets you apart, what is your differentiator, like your product. And I think that's what will, you know, succeed, how you can showcase your product the best as possible, and also give that human touch of like what's the user experience, what's I don't know, there's so many different DeFi protocols and projects that it's hard to tailor on top of my head what that will look like, but create a strategy around your business and your value proposition and market from there.
No, that's very interesting. Like at Audley, we started listing real world assets, and we figured that's like a good way to get into the traditional finance world. We're basically listing the stuff that's where are they coming from. So it's like this aspect of they feel comfortable trading on the platform, and then they discover new assets, like, or not new assets, but start dabbling around with cryptocurrencies, because everything is traded on chain. What we say is not only like, okay, so let's say you have the product rights. How do you market to these TradFi guys? Obviously, we just talked about Discords and etc. And you mentioned you've worked in a lot of other industries as well. How do you see that difference? What is the main thing that you should implement into your company? Because a lot of people are trying to go either this route or that route. How do you bring it together? Like you mentioned, like you kind of need to make your marketing pipeline fall under one roof.
So understand what your distribution could look like. Right? And understand your customers. Like, your ideal customers. So if you want to target like TradFi, but also want to keep your community, where you find your customer where they are. So if your customers are like traditional finance, like which type of conference they are, how you can get like thought leadership, how you can position your CEOs or C-suite, representing them, your company or projects, your product on stage and speak about it. And also think about more like traditional channels. LinkedIn is gaining like so much popularity right now. People are like, oh my God, we have to drop the crypto Twitter and we have to put stuff on LinkedIn. This is, nothing new. It's been around. It's been around for long. So it's just to create like a strategy about like how you can implement like paid ads in LinkedIn to like try to get the attention around what you're building, what you're speaking, thought leadership articles, more content tailored for that type of audience, and how that would be easy to understand and digest without all the buzzword, all the jargon, and drop all the memes and everything, because those things, they don't work well there.
No, that makes sense. So like from the shift that's happened in the past few years going to traditional finance, what was the main thing just before traditional finance came on? Like how did we market? Because I think a lot of people forget how it was before.
Yes.
And we're transitioning into new things. So how were we and where are we going?
Okay, so one of the things that I kind of like touch before, one of these key points that I actually mentioned, like the spray and pray, the airdrop campaigns, the contests of like memes, and I think those type of like campaigns will not survive into this next era. The gap between the companies who are leveraging their partnerships, their users, they're leveraging their right distribution channels, among the ones who are actually not optimizing to leverage, those distribution channels, is going to be huge. And what is like your key differentiation factor? How you position yourself and how you leverage from your existing customer base, in that creative touch. So no copy paste of things that works for crypto, no copy paste of things that maybe someone else done in the past on traditional finance. Is try to find your unique lane, and the ones who manage to like differentiate themselves and speak about the business value, and the product easy to understand, will win faster than anyone else. So let's say like product explainers, like how's your user customer journey look like using your product? Be creative, be bold, experiment with that, see what lens and also what the algorithm will prioritize, to get ahead of the game. Companies who are optimizing content in the right distribution channel platforms.
So what is your thoughts on like the content creation in general right now as marketing purposes? Because we get so many different outlets from how we create content, from founder-led content, product marketing, or like product content where we showcase how the product works. And then also I think one of the main things right now is going viral worthy content that introduce people to your product. How would you describe that? And how would you go by implementing strategy for those sort of content pieces?
I think, video will be definitely winning, like podcast, video, short form. I think the creator economy is going to be booming, especially now AI is in the game right now, so everyone can create. There's so many creators.
What's your thoughts on all the AI videos popping around?
I have mixed feelings about it, I have to say. I do appreciate still the more genuine and more relatable, but I still am amazed. I don't have enough data how much they are performing, but they are. I think the algorithm is picking up more on that. I think it's quite cool, depend on the creative direction, and how much money you're actually investing to create this like super high end production video content. It's all about creativity, direction. If it's funny, it's still, if it lands, it lands. Doesn't really matter if it's like a real person on AI at the end of the day. Coming back to the point of content tailored for different type of platforms and distribution, I do think that I'm a big advocate for founder-led content. I've been following a lot of content like on TikTok, on social X, Instagram, that the founder explained their journey and how they ended up building that human touch,
Exactly.
and that human touch and likability, relatable, the struggles that made him. I think that sells. That is, the selling point as well. Is the effort, the vision, their journey.
There's more like there's more like a physical touch, or like a
there is like a human touch to the story. Your product can be great, but you probably, the competitive landscape is massive. Like you have so many competitors out there. You have many other companies launching something that you're launching as well. Maybe because they have better branding, they're going to be ahead of the game, but your product is better. Maybe you're going to improve your marketing budget to become like more cool and have more distribution. But I think all of these factors just compounds, the direction of your company. Good marketing, good sales team, good BD, which is hard though. I mean, I guess like as a startup founder, this is all hard to manage. But be honest, be vulnerable also. So the type of like founder-led content, if you're also transparent, people will tag along and be really more understanding if the product fails. I think companies who use that in their leverage are, they're also, winning big time.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I watched a piece of content yesterday and this person mentioned like how we're building now is almost we need to think of like becoming a storytelling agency. So it's like it's more storytelling than the actual product, because that sells at the end of the day a lot better.
Storytelling is your best go-to-market. Doesn't matter what social media you're going for. Create a strategy, storytell your markets, use that distribution and leverage from that. It's just like a compounding effect of like growth. If that makes sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense. A very good example is like Cluely. I'm sure you heard of Cluely, the startup in New York. A bunch of young guys building a AI tool that is almost like you just ask them the questions and it responds, or it's like a plug-in tool you plug into a Zoom meeting and it responds for you, or it gives you like the wording you need to say, or the sentence you need to respond with. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that cool of a product, but how they're marketing and how they're putting it forward it's amazing, and everyone just feels the hype. They go into it. I don't want to throw you on the spot here, but I want to just get some insights. So at Audley, we provide anyone with a no-code kit where you can launch your own perp decks, and a lot of people, let's say KOLs or projects, they have the community, they have the people surrounding them that trusts that brand name. And we allow anyone to just shop their own perp decks, no code, shared order book liquidity. It takes 17 seconds to build the whole entire perp decks if you're really going fast. And it's a $10 investment that you pay to start generating fees. And you give that perp decks to your community, they trade on it, you generate volume, and then there's a like spread fee that you take as a broker, or
commission,
as a builder, as commission. I want to test the waters. How do you think someone should market something like that?
Okay, so we're talking about B2B. This is a part that a lot of people end up failing. What is important to understand is we are doing B2B marketing versus B2 consumer. But also it's important to keep it in mind, your business to consumer distribution, because you also want to help your partners how they will also achieve more distribution, because if they grow their user consumer base and they increase, revenue, you're also winning. So this is like the key strategic thinking behind the cool marketing campaign as well. If you end up doing a cool marketing campaign with that partner in integration, because you want to showcase your product, you want to showcase that integration. From what I'm hearing, I hear 3 key relevant key factors from your pitch. Low fees. Fast execution. And there was
fast to ship the product. So
there's a fast execution, low fees, and and
shared order book, so there's guaranteed liquidity.
okay.
You don't have to go. Yeah, and I mean it's a very cost-effective way. Like if you look at the old way of creating a perp dex, like we had someone on the team that recently built their own exchange, and their story was they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on developers, people to provide liquidity, market makers to spin up a dex, and it all just went downhill because he spent all the money on the infrastructure and building out the platform, and was left with the product but no marketing.
Okay, so you already have the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So you need to showcase why your infrastructure is better than others.
Yeah.
So you need to touch on these key points when you're running a campaign, and you wanted to like make them understand how easy it is to run, how fast is the execution, how low is the fees. So because you need to touch on their key pain points.
Yeah.
Because if you want to launch with X, Y, or Z company, they need to know they're winning by integrating or launching with you guys.
Yeah.
So focus only on that. And I don't think there is a lot like KOL investment, marketing spend, and like this. Sometimes KOL campaigns can be very costly.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to track performance and return over investment on like large budget spends. It can make a big splash, and definitely there is some sort of return and buzz and attention. But I would definitely start with like a very specific campaign, like a product explainer, what makes your product very unique and easy to use, and how fast it is.
Yeah.
But also think about like that specific audience and what their user journey could look like.
Yeah.
As a developers, as a user. And also try to get ahead of the game by giving some tips of like how they also can increase their visibility on socials, or strategic partnerships create that compound distribution effect as well. So you and your partner combine, in terms of social reach, can create like a massive campaign and generate so much attention with like minimal little cost. And how you time things, how you can bring the right partners on board, and how you can showcase what sets your product apart from anything else.
Yeah.
And just go full force on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Oli has done a pretty good job, like my biased opinion here, but like, I mean, being able to like obviously launch your own exchange, but on top of that, launching your own permissionless listing. So you just provide a liquidity pool, or you provide liquidity as an insurance fund, and you bring on your own market maker, and you can list any token. I mean, you can list any real asset you want to, any crypto token you want to, meme coins, etc., and generate volume from your own exchange, where that token is being traded on your own exchange, but also that token is being deployed on all the other Oli powered dexes. So that means if someone trades on XYZ dex, but they're trading your token, you're generating part of that volume in revenue on your side. So it's very interesting.
So you have the traders. Your target is traders as well, right?
Yes. So like how I like to think about it is the infrastructure. It's so easy to build the exchange. We have the message right there, but I think the next step is empowering the people that's building on top of us for them to see success. So that is like, I think, the main points I want to figure out.
So the features, right? So that comes back to the features. So if you also want to target those like traders and like users, like what the features actually can stand out, like trading competitions, P&L dashboards, statistics, VIP exclusive loyalty programs that can make, them more attractive to use and be able to like interact more with the products. I think could be a good angle.
Yeah, trading competitions is good. We've run a few in the past, but okay, you then maybe you onboard an extra additional 2,000 traders. So you have that kind of concept of, okay, they'll carry on trading on the platforms if they like it, but now the volume drops again.
Retention.
Yeah.
How do you work with retention?
Yeah.
How you make them engage over time also, actually. It's really important to think ahead. So these like referral programs, how they want to like share the message and maybe get more like incentives or being part of it. Make them feel power, like part of the community, power
Yes.
of the product,
Yeah.
and also go on that journey with the traders. They also, there is more for them to win by being part of the product and the user experience.
Yeah.
And like this like VIP or like sort of like unique sort of like incentives for them to stay over time and be, you know, the best.
Them giving feedback on the product, like add this feature, add that feature, and
Or like there's like bug bounties or like
Yeah.
some bounties for them to contribute in different ways. I think this sense of belonging and incentives, like there is the financial incentive, but there's also other type of incentives that you can attach to it. And also try to understand what are their main, you know, challenges in trying to work with those challenges and showcase, because one trader challenger could be other traders challenges as well.
Yeah.
So you use that as a case study as well. Maybe create like more case studies about what make them succeed, and their success represent your success and the other trader's success as well.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, I mean, we've had a few projects that came on board so early that has massive wins. Like one, for example, is Inbum from Korea, one of the biggest South Korean streamers or KOLs in the space. We partnered up with him. We gave him like very, very good fees, so lower fees than usual. And he racked up $45 billion in volume in just 3 months. And then afterwards, he sold that community or that trading people that's trading onto Gate.io, one of the biggest Web3 companies out there right now. And yeah, he sold it for a large 8-figure amount.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, success stories like in today's age is like probably one of the most like powerful things out there.
Yeah. So also on that point, I want to make sure like also mention this, because I think for any project, any DeFi project wants to succeed this year, it's think about also how they can build trust and credibility.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of, especially for the traditional finance, coming back to that point that we were speaking about, it's like a very uncharted waters, very gray area, a lot of speculation. And there is a lot of distrust, and how you can build that stack of trust, reliable layer or product that you're putting forward, you know?
Talking about trust right now, a big topic, or it's going on for a long time, but I think a lot of people is figuring out now, is marketing directly to like specific groups of people, let's say Chinese speaking or English speaking, Latin American group. Like you've worked with Latin Americans for quite some time now. You mentioned you spent 2 years there, helping them grow the community, but you also mentioned to me off the podcast is spending time is one of the most important factors of understanding them and then creating a strategy around it to actually go to market or give better products to them. Can you dive a little deeper into what you're learning was there?
Sure. Every specific market comes with their own set of like regulations, how you can navigate their own communities, the thought leaderships or the programs they run in terms of like education around blockchain technology. So it's quite like complex. And I think it's really important once a company wants to establish and run their business or expand into the specific regions and the specific markets, they need to understand what the game is there, right? Like, and they cannot just like guess. There's no guesswork anymore. We used to think that, oh, we know this is how it works, so we just go there and run this playbook. But there's no playbooks. And there is also, on top of that the language barrier. The challenges of like how to communicate your product.
Funny enough, we've tried AI translation. It doesn't have the same effect. Like you kind of need someone that not only, and
people can feel that.
Exactly.
They will be like, oh, these guys are like putting some AI stuff. This sounds like sketchy. I'm not gonna be part of. I'm not gonna buy into this.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants people in projects who can speak, in their maybe native language or to the problems they're close to their hearts. And I think that's really important to have, like, let's say regional ambassadors, or if you want to think like a specific BD, trying to look for like potential leads, or a specific person dedicated if you want to go more like an education realm. I feel like more like developer company, more focused on developer onboarding. It doesn't matter the person that you're gonna have leading those efforts, but you have to have someone on the ground. And you need to spend some time with the thought leaders, with the companies investing in the funds, investing in blockchain, to understand what are the challenges, what is the regulatory landscape of that country, what makes the community excited about building in blockchain, and also what are the specific problems, what is the use cases, because a big use case, for example, in Africa might not be the biggest use case for Brazil or Argentina.
So what was the main things that you discovered in those 2 years? Like, let's say someone else is trying to do it, but they don't have 2 years to figure it out. They may have 3 or 6 months. What are the main things that you discovered, like, oh crap, I should have focused on this when I started, and not 2 years down the line, you know?
Sometimes fast pace, it can be your biggest enemy. Everyone wants to cut down on people, do with one person, do everything. And also you just want to just run the show. You know, you want to just go and do it. And let's just experiment. Let's just send someone and figure things out as we move. Sometimes it can work, but also can be your biggest enemy. Let's put it that way. It's exactly like that. And there's a lot of, like I said, misconception when people think they can just rock up and do, or maybe because I'm come from protocol or project X, I have a big name, therefore it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. So looking back 2 years ago, I wish I had more opportunity to spend time with the people and the projects more closely, to have like more tailored approach how we would do things. And because maybe work on market X, and I assume like, oh, if it works here, it should work in other places. Generally, you need to spend a little bit more time on the ground, or have the right resources or the right human resources to work for you to come up with what would be like the best strategy. So yeah, I think I know that maybe we don't want to spend 2 years figuring things out, but 2 years ago there was a different market from what it is now.
Speed can either kill you or really push you far ahead, right?
Yes.
So it's figuring out that balance.
Yeah, so maybe 2 years ago I would do something different this year, but this year things move so fast and it's just so different that I don't know if my advice will still be in place, because I don't know if now with AI probably you can still figure things out without need to do a lot of groundwork. But a combination of both still is needed, because there's nothing that AI can give you, like in terms of research, data, information, run, scrap, all of like these dashboards, understand like which country drives more volume, which more has like more payments. You can have all that information. But if you don't have a team or someone on the ground navigating those informations and fact checking, it's not 100% accurate what if your strategy will end up being successful or not. I mean, it can still fail either way, but better use the resources that you have and some time on it before you start investing and putting resources forward, and just burning money. You know,
that
like
makes sense.
we've burned so much money already trying to experiment things. Maybe enough of experimentation, get your facts right, have people on the ground, combine both, and make better informed decisions.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So like actually just going in with a game plan, right? And like I feel the best way to do this is kind of just going into the community and finding someone that relates to your product, and then working directly with them to figure everything out. Or what would you say is the I want to touch speed again, because like in my eyes, speed is one of the most important things.
It is.
Especially now with everything moving.
It is. It's overwhelming. We need to get ahead of our competition. We need to get ahead of ourselves. We need to get ahead of our colleagues. Speed, it is still very important.
And like so what I want to ask there is it better to just go into, let's say, a new market and get someone that's in the market already, that you can like train up to what your product is, or going over on your own and figuring everything out?
I mean, it can either be both. I don't know. I don't have like a clear answer for that. But I think what do you need though is someone who can validate your thought process and the strategy, your frameworks, to translate translate products to people, translate product to the actually regulatory landscape, and make sure that lends. I think we come up with a lot of like go-to-market strategies that overall, as a global startups, we all building products. They're global right now.
Yeah.
But in a very competitive landscape, maybe a project that was built from a PAC region, let's say like an exchange, people will end up using more that exchange there because they're familiar to them. They have more like events or like activations or strategies that speaks, to the users and the community, versus like a general, exchange that maybe not put much focus there. So how do you win the competition in these markets? I think it's important to know how maybe you can build a team from the ground up.
Interesting. So we've discussed a lot of things regarding market in Web3 and DeFi space. What are the key aspects everyone should be focusing on, and what are the things people focusing on that doesn't have a good effect, or that maybe has a negative effect, or actually just dragging them down?
I've met a whole range of different founders and builders and people who wants to build a project. Some of them end up succeeding, some of them haven't. But I would have to say that the main 3 or 4 or 5 things that startups needs to focus is what problem they're solving. Number 1. You can build a project because it's cool, but like what actually is the problem you're solving? Number 2, be extremely passionate about what you're building. Because there's things can fail down the line, but your passion, your grit will make you keep pushing forwards. Be really like delusional that your products will make it, but also that is solving a problem,
Be obsessed.
Be obsessed. Yes, that's a big thing. Number 3, I think it's still important to understand not just the problem you're solving, but also the impact, before you getting into I'm building a project for revenue because I want to make money or will make me,
I think a lot of people has that mindset going into business in general. And then they kind of see it doesn't work and they just give up.
Another point that I would say is I always say this in every context that I'm in, but I think it's such a big motto. Think globally, act locally.
Interesting. How do you do that? How do you do that?
Think globally of like the whole large scale, like large, big picture of things, and have like a full context of like what the technology does, or like which other use cases around the world. Be inspired by everything that is out there. But just all these inspirations and these like streams of information doesn't really like sometimes are, helping you to deal with your actual problem. Use that as an inspiration and source of like knowledge to be able to develop something that is more like local. And then from local you can scale globally, and then think about like raising funds and distributing to other markets. But it's easier for you to navigate something that you're familiar with. And last point, use AI as much as you can. The time to build is now. I don't know if I could build a project like 1 or 2 years ago, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm not technical. Oh my god, like I don't have budgets to like invest in a marketing team, or I don't know if I'm gonna pay like Facebook ads or YouTube or video content. All of these things come into your mind, but right now AI is your best friend. Even if like, especially if you're starting. Especially if you're starting, there is so much redundant work, research, validation that you can do with AI. And I did a research the other day that I was doing like this hackathon with Lovable. The amount of people in the whole entire population using AI is like 3 or 5%.
Yeah, I saw it's like from the 5%, it's like only 1% is actually, or 0.1% is actually using it to the full extent.
Exactly. So imagine the whole population, how much competitive advantage you already have. So use that as a resource, validate your thoughts, speak with your friends, speak with your family. Get some testing, test it out. Instead of you getting ahead of yourself and start like putting some budget or create like a beautiful website because you want to look nice. Like forget about that. Create like just a platform for people to test and get feedback. Like if you figure out like Cloud Code and MCPs and how to plug everything into many things or apps that you already have, you can just go.
Yeah, no,
you can go places.
No, it's true. And I've heard this saying a lot, and I don't know if you as well, but what's your thoughts on people saying we're building for AI agents, not for people?
That's a very good question. I don't think I went deep on the rabbit hole of that yet. But one thing is marketing, for example. We're not building SEOs anymore. We used to be creating like a SEO strategy. Right now, like everything we're feeding into content online is just for LLMs to pick up. You don't go to Google and write questions about, you go to ChatGPT, you make a question, what's the best software to do this, or what's the best integration if I have a product A to do that. And that's like your biggest source of truth right now. And I mean, it is in fact a whole intelligent machine running across the whole internet, all the information they have. So you have to optimize for the LLMs and for the agents. Agentic commerce and payments. And I think we're just like on the beginning of a big boom of agents happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a bunch of founders saying they have like 11 agents doing, each one has a specific role in specific thing. I mean, it's gonna be big.
It's getting out of control.
Yeah. I think that's like why blockchain is such a powerful tool right now, is because I mean, being able to do payments through AI agents. Ordering Uber Eats, just messaging agents like, order this for me, send it to my home. No, it's gonna be interesting. Well, yeah, it was nice chatting to you. I appreciate your time. It was a very insightful conversation. And please go ahead, check her out on LinkedIn, X. I'll link everything down below. Thais, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. It was really nice. I hope we get to do more of this another time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.